Good morning. Good day. Hello. This is Sensible Truth on the Medlock Post, where we lift, inspire, and encourage. I am Richard G. Medlock, your host. This is Friday. There's been a lot continuing to happen in America and the world. Let's talk about Iran to start with. But first, let's hold that. I want to tell you a story. I saw this video yesterday on X. And X is now the news source of the world. Things are being reported there that are not being reported in mainstream media. That's the place to go. If you want to know what's going on in Iran, go to X. If you want to really know what's going on with the Democrats and ICE, go to X. If you really want to know what's going on with radical GOP senators and congressmen, go to X. They are fighting against America, these GOP senators and congressmen. They're not just fighting against Trump. When you fight against Trump, you fight against America. Now, sadly, I had to block a person that used to be a good friend on Facebook yesterday. I mean, it broke my heart, but he had gotten to the point he is now a full Trump hater. And he's a good person. His family is good. But he's caught on to that ideology that Trump is the reason that everything is going bad. Now, look, I'll get to that video. Hold on. Everybody, the media and the Democrats are out there lying their heads off, and everything else on their body is because they say ICE is causing all the chaos. Well, folks, that is a lie. Chaos didn't try to run over one of their own. Chaos didn't try to resist arrest in Portland, Oregon by two Trinidad leaders. They tried to be arrested and they tried to run over the ICE agent. So they got shot. They didn't die, but they got shot. But folks, here's the crux of where the chaos is coming from. And it's these Democrat-run cities, these sanctuary cities, that the police will not cooperate. They have ICE, they have illegals, illegal criminals locked up in prisons and will not allow ICE to come in and take them and deport them. What they do is then release them back into the streets. So that's a simple fix, right? The police arrest them. Okay, there's an ICE hold on them. We'll hold them. We'll call ICE. They can come pick them up. No. They won't even let ICE in the police stations. So they release the illegal criminals back onto the streets to commit more crimes. And there's record after record after record that even the day they're released, they commit another serious crime. So then this has forced ICE, under the direction of Tom Homan and Kristi Noem, to go door to door in the neighborhoods. So let me ask you, who is really creating the chaos? The Democrats who will not cooperate with federal law, uphold federal law, cooperate with ICE or any other agency of the federal government, and put these criminals back on the street. Now, this video I saw yesterday, I laughed all the way through it. I watched it several times. It was a short video, hardly any sound. You really couldn't hear anything. You had a police car stopped. Policeman was standing outside of it, about toward the front of his car, a few feet off on the left side, and a man standing there with a black hoodie on. You could never saw his face, and they were, or the one guy was talking. You could see the head moving and the body moving. He was talking. Policeman just standing there, and the guy kept inching closer and closer to the policeman. And then he hauled off and punched the policeman. Didn't knock him down, punched him. And the policeman took a step back. I mean, it turned the policeman's head. And he took a step back. Now, he had every right in the world at that, under the law, at that point to pull out a taser and taser the guy. Don't know if he was armed or not. You couldn't see. And it was a cold climate because you could see some snow on the ground and they were bundled up pretty good. So the guy just he jumped backwards and he had his hands up. He was ready to fight. He thought the policeman was going to come after him. The policeman just stopped, just looked at him, the straight face, calm, calm as could be, walked to the back door of the police car, opened the back door, and I'm sure he gave a command because this German Shepherd comes out the door around the policeman and jumps all over this guy. And the video stops as the guy is falling backwards with the German Shepherd all over him. Now, I just had to laugh. I showed it to my son. We're just laughing at this because stupidity has consequences, folks. Stupidity has consequences. Reacting, making your judgments on solely emotional feelings has consequences, and they're normally not very good. Now, let's continue this with the chaos that's being created by the Democrats and their minions that they have literally trained to go out there and cause chaos, to protest, to attack, to go after ICE, to obstruct them. I mean, you've got Portland, where the two were shot. You say the mayor, the chief of police go out defending the gang members, defending them. This is where the chaos comes from. Now, let's talk about the rule of law. The rule of law. And as the founding fathers called it, the rule of the people. Because the Constitution of the United States starts out with "we the people." Now, when the founding fathers, who were well educated, most of them self-educated, understood history, they had studied history, understood and studied philosophy, Socrates, Aristotle, Cicero, and others, and John Locke, and all these brilliant men that were on the side of the people, but were on the side of God. Cicero gave us, and the Roman Empire, natural law, which was the Creator's law. And he advocated that all laws should be in line with the Creator's law, the rule of law. And we have founding fathers, I think it was Hamilton or Madison or somebody said, if these laws do not align with the Creator's law, nature's law, God's law, then it's a bad law. Now, we have seen that trampled on by laws in this country. But when the founding fathers were looking at putting together the Constitution, the laws by which this country would proceed as a free Judeo-Christian country, they looked at it from many perspectives, from history and philosophy and religion. But the main thing that they understood so well, and these philosophers and the gospel of Jesus Christ understand so well, is human nature. We can go back from Adam and Eve, from Abel and Cain. Cain killed Abel over envy and hate. And after he did that, he made a deal with the devil, literally, and he was marked. He and his followers, his family, who decided to swear an oath to Satan to murder and cause chaos, all under the direction of Satan. That has not stopped in this world. There was a brief interlude with the flood. Noah and his family were the only ones that survived the flood because they were the only righteous people on earth. He preached for over 100 years for people to repent and return to God. And they wouldn't do it. God destroyed them to protect future children of his coming to earth. So human nature is a big key to the understanding. Human nature hasn't changed. You can go back through all the scriptures, through history and everything. Great literature, not garbage literature, but great literature understands and presented the sides of human nature. But this is what the founding fathers were looking at. You have tyranny on one end and anarchy on the other. Think of this as a seesaw. Well, tyranny and anarchy was all over Europe at the time. You had tyranny through the kings and monarchs and dictators in Europe and other parts of the world. You had anarchy from the people rebelling against the tyranny. So, in essence, tyranny is from those that govern. Anarchy is from those that do not, the common people that just don't care about the laws, and they fight against the tyranny. They go outside the law to do that. So the founding fathers, where's this balance? Where's the middle here? And that's where the concept of we the people, the people's law, came into being. The power is in the people. And tyranny takes that power away. Now, communism is a big focus in all this. I'll talk about that on another day. So we have, in the United States of America right now, tyranny from those that govern, even in Washington, D.C., and in corporations, and in schools, and other places. Mayors, governors, they're running by tyranny. Now, because of that tyranny, they have convinced many of we the people to be anarchists in our own borders. This anarchy is what's attacking federal law enforcement. This anarchy is what is protecting illegals and criminals. This is what we need to focus on. This is where reason comes into play here. To look at the big picture, to know, wait a minute, law, what is law? I mean, if we go back right now, if we had legislators that were doing their job, they would kill thousands of bills on the book because they do not coincide with the laws of God. But we don't have them there. We don't have people in DC, not enough of them, to overcome this. The GOP rhinos, the GOP treasoners are showing themselves now. Now, they voted yesterday in the Senate or the day before to take powers away from the presidency, i.e., Trump. That Congress, he can't do anything militarily without approval from Congress. Article 2 of the Constitution doesn't say that. Article 2 says the president is the commander in chief of all the armed forces, not Congress, the commander in chief. Now, you can think what you want about what he's doing in Venezuela and elsewhere. Venezuela was a brilliant action that has cut off China and Russia and Iran from getting oil. Their money flows are going to stop. Iran's cut off. This is a brilliant strategy. Now, there's still things to do in Venezuela. The fight's not over for total freedom, but it's a whole lot better than it was. And there's a lot of people in South America and Central America doing a big sigh of relief because of what Trump did. Everybody is applauding this, all the Venezuelans, except the Democrats and the EU, European Union. It's going to affect them too. But these elected officials in Washington that are standing up against trust are owned by the globalists in one way or the other. The list came out the other day of senators that were getting money from Maduro, millions of dollars. Folks, Trump is cutting off this money line, this money laundering line to the Democrats and the Republicans. This is why they're fighting for. This is why the GOP doesn't want to do away with the filibuster. Because if Trump gets everything he wants, laws are going to go back and coincide with God's law. And these people they won't have their money, they won't have any power. And they don't want to do away with it. They've got to have that seat at the table, the corruption table, that tyranny table, that anarchist table that is trying to destroy America. This is what we are looking at today. There's a lot of corrupt people. It's not just in Washington. When you look at the system that had to be set up for the fraud to take place in Minneapolis, California, Maryland, they're now finding Maryland, New York yesterday. Governor Hochul came out and announced they're increasing their welfare budget by $4.5 billion. Nothing to see here, folks. So all these states that are funding these daycare centers, the government, Trump has asked for their records. Remember the day he cut off $50 billion or 5 billion or whatever it was, a big amount of money. No more money going to welfare, to daycare centers. Anybody? Why are we funding daycare centers in the first place? He's cut that money off. Hey, you don't want to show us your records? Fine. Same thing with SNAP. 21 or 22 states won't send in their records on SNAP. So Trump's cut off their funding. Well, they've all sued. All these states are suing. Oh, you want our records? We're suing you. You can't have our records. Yeah, they can. You get federal dollars. You have to show us where it's going. Excuse me. This is the anarchy that has taken place. They care about money and power and lust over the rule of law. This is our battle today. Now, let me finish with this one. I had something else planned, but I'll save that. One more thing. Governor Walz, Tim Walz, says he's getting the National Guard ready to go up against federal ICE agents and FBI, whoever. Well, guess what? One of the leaders of the Minnesota National Guard came out the other day and says, that is an unconstitutional order and we will not obey it. We cannot attack federal troops. Whoops. Now, my question, when he's out there talking about it, when he first came out with it, I'm going, how many Somalis are on the National Guard in Minnesota? There's another history there that we'll get to on another show. But I want to go back and say this, because for like 15 plus years, many of us, when I was on my radio show, and others in the media, even Rush Limbaugh, was talking about what's happening in America today, up to this point for the last 15 plus years, is so similar similar circumstances that led to the Civil War in 1861. The same thing, folks. The same thing. Andrew Jackson wanted to send in federal troops to South Carolina about 15, 20 years before the Civil War. He didn't do it. But the North at that time, who had the votes in Congress, were creating bills to take wealth out of the South. I bet you didn't know that, did you? Your history books don't tell you that. They tell you it's all about slavery. This was about states' rights. Don't have time to get into that. But we're looking at this today and about the superiority clause in the Constitution. Is that what it's called? But anyway, where the federal government trumps state law. Now, state law, understand this. Under nullification, state law does not have to cooperate with federal officials in enforcing the law, but they cannot, it's against the law for them to obstruct. So every time a police station refuses to allow ICE in to arrest an illegal alien to go deport them, they've just violated federal law. Simple, folks. The rule of law. People's law, God's law, tyranny, anarchy. It's your choice what you want to choose, which one you want to follow and be part of. But understand, those that are out in the streets that are being paid are nothing but pawns of the Democrats and the globalists. They don't care if you die. They don't care about good who got shot. They're applauding that, yay, we can use that. And they are. This is their game. They don't care about the common folks, the common people that Obama called them. So that's where we are, folks. What do you want? Do you want to fight against America? Do you want to be an anarchist, a tyrannist? Do you want to follow those tyrants that are trying to destroy America and become an anarchist in the street or in your life? Or do you want to be part of freedom and liberty and good that's going to benefit everybody, not only in America, but around the world? That's your choice. God's law, people's law, or do you want to choose tyranny and anarchy? That's your choice, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll leave it with you on this day. God bless America, and God bless those that are trying to uphold freedom and liberty. God bless you in all your efforts. And I will stand behind you. Good day.